Let's see. All right, hi everybody. It is Friday evening, a very busy one on this June the 27th. I appreciate those of you who've been watching us on News Channel 9 and streaming at newschannel9.com for our early evening broadcast. We are now tracking these showers and storms moving by, and very concerned for a couple of reasons. One being the flooding risk. You know, we talked about the weather alert days that we had coming up. There were two concerns. One was for some damaging wind gusts with a few storms, but also the very slow movement would mean the risk of localized flooding. That's happening right now. And I'll show you where flood watches and flood warnings in effect and how much rain's fallen just over the past 2 to 3 hours alone. And it's still raining in these areas. So if you live in a flood prone area, please be aware of that. Let me turn this on so I can see some of your comments there. But anyway, we're going to track the storms that are ongoing across the area, show you where the warnings are, and track you through what to expect the rest of the evening hours. So thanks so much for joining us on this very wet start to the weekend. It's something that'll stick around for the weekend as well. I don't see this being an all-weekend washout. Today wasn't. I mean, it's raining now, but for the most part, it started partly sunny. It was rather humid. Then we got the scattered storms moving in for the afternoon and evening. And that's how it's going to be for tomorrow and Sunday as well. So scattered at times, heavy rain and lightning, but other times partly sunny. So if you have plans to go to the lake, to the pool, golf course, just anything outdoors, you can, but make sure to carry along the Storm Track 9 app so you can follow the radar. And also it'll send you alerts if one storm reaches severe levels, but also be aware that if thunder roars, you head indoors. Remember that lightning safety rule. Be sure the kids understand that as well. So let's go ahead and minimize me for a second and show you more of the radar screen. Can we do that? There we go. Move that. Perfect. All right. And you can see on the radar screen, even though I'm looking opposite on the screen here, I'm looking at the radar, even though the radar's right here in front of me on the screen. I'm looking the other way to this other monitor, just in case you're wondering where I'm looking. But anyway, heaviest rain right now is right between Dalton, Ringgold, and then you go from Cleveland northward to Seal Creek. Now, within this, some very heavy rain. You'll also notice there are no warnings at the moment as far as severe thunderstorm warnings. There is an advisory here across North Georgia, and it's just as bad across Southeast Tennessee for that matter. This advisory out till 7 o'clock. Could have wind gusts upwards of 40 miles an hour, 40 to 50. A lot of lightning and heavy downpours of rain. Very similar in other parts of our viewing area. But let me show you where the flood warning is in effect. For South Central Hamilton County, Middle Valley, Harrison, Hickson, East Ridge, Lookout Mountain, and most of downtown. If you look at this over the past, say, 3 hours, you see a core of heavy rain, Red Bank over to Hickson. I mean, these areas, I'm going to update this total here. Let's see, that had 3.7 to 2.5, so 2.5 to 3.5 has fallen in that area just with that one storm alone, and it's still raining. So again, it's causing some flash flooding at the moment, and the reason why that warning is in effect, that's in effect till 8:45 Eastern time. Thankfully, the heavy rain is starting to move away from those areas, but still causing that flooding risk. Also notice, I've got these streamlines right here drawn. This shows you the upper level steering flow. So when you zoom in on the radar, you're going to see it moving south to north in spots, southeast, northwest in spots, and then curling back to the north. That kind of gives you an idea of where the storms are moving. So if they were ships on the water, that's where the wind would push the sails along, okay? So that's what those streamlines represent. But let's take a look at these storms here, because I know there's no advisory on these, but during the 6 o'clock newscast, we were tracking wind in those. Northern Hamilton, Southern Ray, where it was rolling by upwards of 40, 50 miles an hour. So let's take a look at those from a velocity point of view. You're looking at reflectivity now. This shows you the intensity of rain, and it's raining heavily, Sale Creek to near Dayton up to Pikeville. But right in here, there are still some strong wind gusts. So we're going to look at the velocity scan. It's going to look a little bit different. But as you can see, where you see those deep pockets of red, and I'm talking right in here, okay, in here, some of these wind gusts above the surface, pretty strong. Let's see. These pockets show between 30, 35. They're down a bit from where they were, but there's still some gusts that have been in there upwards of over 40 miles an hour. That's approaching 40 above the surface. So again, when you see that deep red, that, kind of raises our eyebrow a little bit. So it's below severe potential, but as you can see right in here, that's where the strongest wind gusts could be as these all drift by. But note how that core moved through Marion. When it was over Marion County, some of those gusts were about 45 to 50. So it's kind of migrated into the Sequatchie Hamilton line and then moving farther north eventually up toward Dayton. So there's going to be some pockets of very strong wind gusts with that. So please understand that. It may be below what's considered severe. So it's not reached that threshold and causing a warning, but still pretty strong. So I want you to know that, be aware of that. So that again is just looking at the velocity scan. Looking at the radar view again, very heavy rain. Cleveland, actually Cleveland got the convergence of this line here merging with this one coming in from the west. So you've got now quite a bit of very heavy rain here. Big lightning threat. Again, don't go back outside till you've had 30 minutes since the last visible lightning strike or clap of thunder before going back outside. A lot of lightning here into southern Meigs, south of Decatur, Sale Creek to Dayton, where there's some strong gusts in there. Slow drift to the north. Let's go down to the south a bit where there is that advisory around Dalton. So this stretch is basically from south of Chatsworth to Dalton to Ringgold. This advisory out till 7 o'clock. It's a fairly strong storm with heavy rain and lightning. Let's check the hail potential in there. I'm going to remove everything off the map here so you can see this a little bit better. Yeah, we got some hail there. This over the past hour, you can see the hail moving there, and near Keith's Mill over to Dalton. So rough estimate there of the hail approaching the size of a quarter. So you're going to have some pea-size, quarter-size hail. As that system moves off to the north and northwest, notice again, see these lines going to the north. That's the steering flow. So toward Warren, Rocky Face, Tunnel Hill, you're going to have some small hail with that, even near Dawnville, potentially. So again, these are not severe warned storms, but they're still strong. And that's why advisory remains in effect. Let's check the rest of our viewing area for any hail to the north. There's a little bit there. You see some pea-size hail at times in spots, maybe a little bit towards Georgetown at the moment. Just a little bit. But overall, not a big, large hail. But boy, look at that. This is outside the viewing area. Even there, Tate and Ball Ground. That's some. Let's just look at that. Yeah. 1 inch diameter hail. Ball Ground. That's over there near Gibbs Garden, where they have all the daffodils in the spring. Right near Ball Ground. Beautiful area there. Beautiful garden area there, too. That's all moving into the mountains. So we'll keep an eye on that storm as it moves off to the north. But that's the hail potential with that. So let's go back to the warnings and the radar. You can see that severe thunderstorm warning. You see the reason why for that area there. Rome in Floyd County did have a warning there. That is now expired. So there's some heavy rain just south of Rome. And we're going to keep an eye on this activity here. I mentioned that near Ball Ground and Tate. But see, again, the movement is to the north-northwest. So neighboring areas of Gilmer, Gordon. We'll see if any of this holds together. Does it prompt more warnings to the south? We'll just have to wait and see. But Calhoun, Georgia, at the moment, not much going on. It's all north of you, but we're going to keep an eye on this activity to the south. It holds together and moves in. So let's just see. At the moment, though, Cleveland is raining buckets right now. White Oak Mountain along the Hamilton-Bradley line, and then right along Highway 11, 75. Let's turn the lightning back on, too. A lot of lightning there. Hopewell, Georgetown, up 58. Up to Sale Creek, and up to Dayton. And again, we'll note the velocity scan in there. Again, you can have some occasional gusts that are kind of strong in there. 35 to 40 above the surface. So it's pretty windy up there too. And there's just an overview of the entire area. No warnings. There are advisories here through Catoosa down to Murray. And then you got an advisory here near Crossville and Cumberland County. And we're going to watch these if they draw closer to maybe Southern Murray, Gordon, and Gilmer with time this evening. And that's movement over the past hour, kind of moving along that upper level flow from the southeast to the northwest. Let's see some of the comments here. Let's see. Tina watching at Calhoun, Tennessee. We just mentioned Calhoun, I think, a minute ago, but I'll show it to you on radar coming up. Let's see. Darlene watching from Ringgold. Robin said just a little rain and windy in Chickamauga. Rosa says power out in Rossville. Wanda says thunder, lightning, and blowing rain in Dayton. Franklin says pea-sized hail in Dalton. Ronald watching in Cleveland. Hello, Chuck in Dayton. Talk about the wind there in Dayton. Hello, Steve. Now, I'll show you one other thing about the storms today. Let me pull up this graphic. So the highest temperature at Level Field topped out at 92 today, just about average for this time of year, about a degree or two above average. But within an hour's time, when that storm rolled in, it dropped it over 20 degrees. So we're hovering now at 71. So it dropped 21 degrees. And the peak gust at the Level Field, the airport, was around 35 miles an hour. Wow. That's what these storms can do. They can be very beneficial to cool you off a bit. It still leaves it awfully muggy. But at the same time, when they're strong like that and drop temperatures like that, they can also provide heavy downpours of rain and strong wind gusts. But look how cool it is now. Temperatures lowered quite a bit. Whitwell, Trenton, Henniger, Murphy, Tellico Plains, all down to the 60s. And it's spots where the storms have been largely absent. It's still pretty hot out there. So not spread equally across our viewing area. There again is that flash flood warning out for parts of Hamilton County, south central Hamilton County, with that very heavy rain that has rolled through. All right, let's take a look at it. Let's start from the south, work our way to the north. And again, Ramhurst, Chatsworth to Keith's Mill. We noted near Keith's Mill there was some hail there, but could be the size of a quarter down to about penny size. That's moving again west-northwest. This beige polygon represents an advisory that's out till 7 o'clock. They'll probably extend that because the storm is not calming down. But do be aware of a lot of lightning, heavy rain, and some occasional wind gusts, 40 to 50 miles an hour. In fact, let's take a look at the velocity scan here. We'll work our way to the north in a second. Remove the lightning layer and the warning layer for a second. And you can see some pockets here. You're going to see some stronger gusts south of Dalton. Let's take a peek there, 31, 21. So it's a bit breezy out there, but still there could be some pockets in there, 30 to 40. So do be aware of that. All right, let's work our way north a bit. Raining heavily and lots of lightning, Wildwood Lake, Cleveland, Hopewell. Someone was asking about Calhoun, Tennessee. Well, you had a stronger storm about a half hour ago. We were covering that on air. I remember mentioning that. Now it's a little calmer as that cells moved away, but still very heavy rain, continuing there along 11 and paralleling with 75. So you're going to have some heavy rain for a while. Farther north, again, this is where that storm is migrating to. It's going north a bit. So you've got Decatur to Dayton, really heavy rain there, lots of lightning. That's both near Dayton and going up on the mountain, back around Pikeville. So be ready in Spring City. That'll eventually drift your way. Same thing, Decatur. There's that storm over Cumberland County. This advisory out until 7 Eastern. Do be aware of gusts up to 40, maybe a little bit of hail with that, but also very heavy rain, lightning being the problem. Farther south a bit, it's a little calmer in these areas. It's still raining, moderate downpours. Parts of Polk, eastern McMinn, any of these areas east of I-75 out here. It's not severe. Occasional lightning strikes and moderate downpours, not too bad. Murphy's much calmer than it was about 2 hours ago where there was a warning out. Now it's expired. And then, of course, farther south for Gilmer County, things are a little quieter now. We'll watch and see what happens with this one to the south of you. I believe is that Pickens County there? Yeah, Pickens, Cherokee, and Dawson County there to the south. That's out till 7:15. That storm is moving north at 20. So we'll watch that one as it drifts away to the north just a little bit, if it impacts parts of Gilmer County. Calhoun, Georgia, largely unaffected at the moment. You have some light rain south of there. Same thing towards Summerville, Tryon, Lafayette. Things are a little calmer now than it was about an hour ago. Overall, haven't been too bad compared to other spots. Very heavy rain in Ringgold to Fort Oglethorpe, Barnell. A lot of lightning around Dalton. That's just not moving much at all. That's the problem with storms this time of year. And we mentioned in our weather alert days is that we'd be really concerned about slow movement, excessive runoff, and flash flooding. And that's definitely the case right now. So live in a flood-prone area, be aware of that. Don't forget, when it comes to driving in areas and maybe flooded out, turn around, don't drown. Same thing for foot traffic. Just don't cross it. Don't cross flooded areas. Let's go back to the rainfall over the past 3 hours. And this is why that flood warning is in effect for Hamilton County. You can see this pocket here near Red Bank, pocket here near Hickson. And these amounts, let's look at the updated totals here. And still upwards of almost 3 near Hickson and about 4 near Red Bank. So with that rain still coming down, this is all from that slow-moving storm. That's not the only area with heavy rain over the past 3 hours. You can see here. This is in portions of Sequatchie County. This goes back on Signal and then over to the west side there of Signal, 127, crossing through there, upwards of 3 inches of rain there. So a lot of runoff off the mountain there. So all the streams and creeks and rivers, and they're going to be swollen for quite a bit. Let's go farther south. You can see also here, just over the past 3 hours, and it's still raining heavily here. North and east of Rocky Face, 2.4 so far, and still raining. So your rain gauge may have more, but this is just a radar estimate based on the reflectivity scan there. So very, very heavy rain over the past couple of hours. In and around downtown, just some of the Rossville Boulevard area here, Clifton Hills, about 2 inches. But this area, Hickson, Valley Brook area, that's the reason why these flood warnings are in effect. Middle Valley, already 2.5 to 3.5 and close to 4 inches there. Red Bank, Dayton Boulevard area. Beware of flash flooding there. And that's the reason why, again, that flash flood warning is in effect for South Central Hamilton County till 8:45 Eastern. Roughly just under 2 hours from now. Oh, we did get an email from the Lookouts. Game postponed tonight. As you can imagine, with the very heavy rain, not draining off the field when it rains like 2 to 3 inches in just under an hour's time. So again, to the top of the hour, 7 o'clock, they'll probably, I would imagine they'll probably expand this advisory in the next minute or two. We'll see. No advisories here, and it doesn't mean that it's not strong. Again, those advisories issued by the National Weather Service, these are all below severe levels, yes, but it's very loud. Now, unfortunately, the number of lightning strikes, the sound of a storm doesn't equate to severity, at least on the severe scale. But does it rattle your house, make you nervous? Yeah. Should you stay inside? Of course, because lightning, as you know, most deadly part of a storm. Stay inside. Thunder roars head indoors, and you can see these pockets of lightning. When it gets really hot like this, you're tend to going to have the storm's going to generate a lot more lightning oftentimes. That's what you're seeing right here. Southern parts of Ray, not far from Dayton, pockets of lightning here from Cleveland all the way to Decatur. So it's noisy out there. So it's just stay inside till this passes on by. But as far as the other severe elements, it is windy with this, but the severity is coming down a bit, coming down just a little bit. And again, this one here is just not moving much. There you go. They were listening. This is National Weather Service Peachtree City extended this advisory here until 7:30 Eastern. And I'll read you the text here because, again, that one's not moving much at all. The upper level flow is moving to the north. That one's not doing it. It's not budging. Okay. So they've got the storm moving southwest at 5. And it was trying to move north and then kind of drifting back to the south a bit. Be aware of lightning, cloud of ground lightning, of course, 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gust. And we did note on our hail scan, a little bit of hail there is possible. So it's not impossible to see that, but mainly on the low end scale. But Dalton, Chatsworth, Varnell, Dawnville, Ramhurst, Rocky Face, Fort Mountain State Park, and even the North Georgia Speedway, all impacted by this storm through 7:30 Eastern. Again, the movement is to the southwest at 5. It's almost stationary. You can kind of see there was a little drift north, and now just in the last few frames, it's kind of dropping down to the south just a little bit. But that stretch from Dalton to Chatsworth along Highway 41, heavy rain. And we noted in those areas already 2 to 2.5 inches of rain, so be aware of flash flooding also. So that's the one advisory in effect. North, again, no advisories with these. These would be issued by the National Weather Service Morristown. So again, the wind potential is a lot lower. It's still breezy and rainy, and it's awfully loud, but around Cleveland, time to stay inside with the lightning threat. Be aware of some flash flooding where you typically get some flooding. That goes up to Hopewell to Calhoun, Decatur and Dayton, both getting the very heavy rain, really raining hard there along the Meigs and Ray County line or along the river. And then right there, just north and west of Dayton, large pocket of lightning going back up on the mountain there. Right along and just west of 27. Rain, lightning over towards Sail Creek. So if you planned on going boating on your Friday evening, not a good evening to do so. And it's going to be the case the next couple of days. If you have late plans or want to get out on the boat, you can this weekend. It's just that during the afternoon or evening, this could be the end result of scattered storms. It won't be in the same array or pattern every day. But we did mention yesterday that kind of anticipated this. That this would be a better coverage today than the past couple of days. Some have been borderline severe. A lot of them have not been. But the lightning threat alone should get your attention. And as I say so often, be sure your kids understand that. When thunder roars, head indoors. Okay? Because you can hear it. That means lightning's close enough. Okay? Farther back to the east, moderate rain, occasional lightning, but Etobicoke Plains, Etowah, Athens, Inglewood, Turtletown, Ducktown, Reliance, Copper Hill, things are much better. Not too bad. A lot cooler. All of that's kind of drifting away off to the north and west. You can see that's going with the upper level flow. Kind of going this way. All kind of drifting away that way. But that one at Dalton's kind of sinking south a bit. That one's saying, I'm going on my own sort of way. Now, notice that storm here, the outflow from it, popping up development there near Cisco. So it's going to have some impact radially outside the storm where the outflow is. So I have to watch that. And then we're also watching, as I mentioned again, that storm here near Jasper, Georgia. There's a warning out. See, it's being pushed along to the northwest already, pushing a little development there well south of LJ in southern Gilmer County. We'll see what the higher terrain impacts are and how far north this goes. If there's an advisory or warning further issued for Gilmer County, we'll let you know. As far as any storm damage, let's see. There were reports of trees down. One report. Let's see. All right, we've had a few. So let's take a look at this. So at around 5:25, a few trees down near the UTC campus. That was at 5:25 as the storm started to emerge there. So a little wind damage in the city. And that's at the time, I believe, that severe thunderstorm warning was in effect for Hamilton County. This one was the first one in Polk County. First severe storm report. That was near Reliance. Multiple trees down and estimated 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So things are calmer there, but it was pretty rough there between 5 and 6. And to the south in Jackson County, a couple of reports here. Some wind damage. Tree reported down near Flat Rock. That was at 4:35 Eastern. And then quarter-size hail near Pisgah at 4:35 Eastern time. See any other reports locally? And those are the only ones. Well, there's one way up here, right in Cumberland County, I believe. This in Roane County, but still close enough. Trees down in Roane County. That occurred a few months. Well, I believe that was yesterday. These are the past 24 hours. That was yesterday. That was during yesterday's storms. But yeah, around the city, I'll mention this one again. Trees down on the UTC campus. With the storms that occurred about 5:24 Eastern time. And worth repeating again, South Central Hamilton County, that flash flood warning out till 8:45 Eastern time. And you can see again the pockets of heaviest rain so far in Hamilton, and we'll expand this view. This is the Hickson Valley Brook area, and then you got Red Bank, Dayton Boulevard area here. This was close to 4. Well, let's go back. I don't think it's including what happened about the hour before that, but this was still in kind of that, sort of that 3 to 4 inch range. And other pockets here into Sequatchie County, about over 3 inches. Yeah, there's that 4-inch amount. Yeah, so really, really heavy there. And then where it's still raining in that part of Whitfield County. See how this area has expanded. That's the heaviest rain core there, not far from Rocky Face. 2.1, 3.6. So that storm is really overproducing. So please be aware of flash flooding in that part of Whitfield County. Let's check on that storm in Whitfield and Murray. Yeah, it's not moving much. It is getting the outflow, sparking some development there near Sugar Valley and Gordon County, and to the far southern part of Whitfield. So that's going to continue there. This advisory out here till 7:30 Eastern. Again, 40, 50 mile an hour wind gust. Cloud of ground lightning, even a little bit of hail possible with that. Movement very slowly to the southwest. You can see this one kind of pop up pretty quickly on 411, Crandall to Cisco. Here's Cleveland, still very heavy rain. A lot of lightning still ongoing. This thing's probably going to rain itself out right there. But see, over the past hour, there's just not much movement. Not much movement at all. So it's going to rain itself out, and do be aware of some flooding in spots. Same things to the north, right along the Meigs Ray County line. It's right along the county line, right along the Tennessee River. Very heavy rain and lightning there. Heavy rain and lightning Dayton, and then back up on the mountain there, where it borders Bledsoe County. In the general motion, following these streamlines to the west and northwest very, very slowly. So it's not severe in these areas, no warnings, but still raining heavily and lots of lightning there. Sail Creek again, still hanging on to some lightning and rain over to Hendon, Flat Top area. Soddy Daisy, the worst of it now to your east. Still getting moderate downpours. Still beware of the lightning threat, though not like it was about an hour ago. And notice again, from the city westward, still moderate rain. So still just adding to the rain gauge total and making that risk of flash flooding still pretty strong there. Pretty worrisome, put it that way. Again, these are, I haven't had that question yet, but, as we've gone farther away now from the spring pattern into the summer pattern, the tornado threat really starts dropping off. These types of storms, you don't have the wind shear aloft as strong. It's very hot and humid with these storms. You're going to have strong wind gust potential. And sometimes the gusts can get 60 to 70 with some of the storms, and the damage can be just like a tornado. But as far as the overall tornado threat, that's really low with storms like this. Our biggest threat worry is for some strong gusts at times, the lightning risk, and of course, the risk of flash flooding. But usually I get asked that question, so I just thought I'd go ahead and cover that, let you know that. Back here to the east, where the storms are moving away from, Murphy has really improved quite a bit. Eastern Polk's improved. So has McMinn. But the outflow from those storms now tapping into that available moisture in the air and the untapped atmosphere, where you have the storm, and that's what you're getting. So Spring City, your rain's coming up to your doorstep now. Very heavy near Decatur to Dayton. Mainly it's a rain and lightning threat. There's probably some gust in there, although not too strong. Again, ignore the purple. That's the radius of a radar. Doesn't mean anything. That's just the radius of a radar. Purple's not all like off the charts or something. It's just denotes the outer radius of the high top radar. But the winds are not too strong with that. It's breezy, but overall, this storm has really fallen apart where it once was. Another way for us to tell the strength of the storms, look at the echo tops. And I'll show you this. This is going to look really wild. Now, we're not looking at the rain here. What we're looking at is the tops of the storm. So you see it being like, I'll stop it here for a second. Okay, when you see these echo tops, this shade, those are very tall tops. To give you an idea, this is around just before 7 o'clock from Hampton. That's 48,000 feet. That's 50,000 feet. Wow, 46,000. All right, so very high tops. When the tops start coming down, there's some gradual weakening with the storm. So that was at about just before 7. Now we go to where we are now, and the tops are coming down a bit. Still some isolated pockets, but it's not as large as it once was. We'll take a look at it. In Bledsoe, that's above 40. And you got that one right here where it's really raining heavily. That's still about 45,000, but in these areas it's coming down. So as the tops start coming down and warming, the strength dies down. But you can kind of tell over the past hour, there's been a sizable shift in the height. See, it was really big, and now just kind of coming down just a little bit. Yeah, look at this, though. You can kind of tell where this storm is moving. It is the core that is moving more southeast, but look at this. This storm here. Top of that one, above 50,000 feet. So that's a pretty nasty cell there. So that advisory remains in effect. A lot of rain, and easily with that height and the updraft going into that area, hail could possibly be a problem. Let's take a look at the current hail in that storm. We'll take the echo tops off. Yep. Matches up pretty well where that tall part of the storm was, right? That's south of Chatsworth. Hail about the size of a quarter. So, yeah, it matches up real well where the tallest part of that storm is. Very strong updraft there. Pushes that moisture way below the freezing level. It falls, and if the weight of the hailstone can still be picked up and pushed back into the storm, it gains another layer and another layer until it gets too heavy till it falls. So, yeah, that's what we're seeing there. Put all the layers back on. All right. As long as that hail threat there south of Chatsworth, still very heavy rain. That rain's really picked up there, Sugar Valley to Resaca, just in the past 10 to 15 minutes. So some of the outflow from this helping initiate that development. That's some really heavy rain near Sugar Valley. And we know about that chance of hail right here. Again, this polygon outlines where there's an advisory till 7:30, but not severe. Just below that, but still, it could be a hail producer, strong wind gust, a lot of lightning. Somebody asked me about Lafayette. Lafayette's dry, high and dry right now, looking good. There you go, Cleveland, raining heavily. It's still noisy, but not severe, okay? Again, Decatur to Dayton still pretty active. That's approaching Spring City. Very heavy rain along the river. And back on the mountain just north and west of Dayton, so pretty noisy in that area. Let's go back to the south. It's pretty active storm here. Again, Chatsworth, Keith's Mill, Dalton, Ramhurst. That thing is not moving much over the past hour. So kind of a drift now to the south just a bit. Tammy says heavy rain, hail, wind shook the mobile home in Chatsworth. Starting to calm down now. That's good to hear. Yeah, if you're in Chatsworth, it is starting to sink to the south just a bit. There is another burst of heavy rain just north of you near Crandall. That's coming down to the south, so be aware that you might have some more rain coming your way there in Chatsworth. Yeah, the worst part of this storm seems to be right in here. Chatsworth southward to the county line. We noted that higher top on the storm. Hail with that. Let's check the wind velocity in there. And you can see this. It's got some strong gusts with it too. But it's impacting the storms that are around it, both north and south. This near Cisco to Crandall, and this here near Sugar Valley and Resaca. Now, we've been also tracking these storms. This one's starting to fall apart. That's good. Some of the outflows sparking some development in Gilmer counties, but at the very least, they've taken the warning off that one. That's good. That'll maybe help things calm down just a bit. And again, all across this area, and I'll point it out, circle it for you. All this area here is loud. Sounds like Independence Day fireworks, but it's all below severe levels. Main concern is lightning. Stay inside. And also the risk where some flash flooding has been occurring, but not severe in those areas. The strongest locally Seems to be that storm near Dalton to Chatsworth and just north of Calhoun. Let's see. Kristen says we are south of Chatsworth near Spring Place. It's been a rough storm for about 30 minutes. Strong winds, sheets of rain, and hail. So, Kristen, thank you for that report. Ashley, also near Chatsworth, says pea-size hail south of 225 near the North Georgia Speedway. And you can see where that hail was. I'll point it out to you again. This kind of tracks where the hail has been, kind of follows where that storm was kind of drifting south a bit. We saw the echo tops coming down, which you can see right between Dalton and Chatsworth, and then kind of moving along to the south. So yeah, these areas have had the hail occur. Yeah, that's near 225, right where Ashley said that was. It's a pea-size hail. So yeah, good report there. Both eyes on the ground and eyes on the radar view there. Again, that's south of Chatsworth on 225. And you can see over the past hour, that thing is just not moving much at all. It seems to be easing up in Dalton. What I mean is there's a shift away from Dalton of the worst part of that storm. I mean, it's still raining heavily there. A lot of lightning from Dalton up to Rocky Face, but the worst of it seems to be now more toward the Whitfield-Murray County line from Chatsworth to the Gordon County line. All right, Tina says South Murray County, heavy rain, wind, and some branches down. So right in this area where we're focused on here. And just to show you again, this advisory out till 7:30 Eastern time. There might be an extension with farther south the way kind of it's moving to the south a bit. A lot of this daytime heating is helping fuel these storms. And when it really starts to rain and hold over one place at one time, it really cools things off and the storm just basically collapses. But when it does start to collapse, though, it can have some strong burst of wind and torrential downpours, and it just kind of fizzles on out. But not yet. And again, across our Tennessee portion of our viewing area, it's still raining heavily in Cleveland, to Ocoee. Lightning here, and Bledsoe, Ray County, a lot of lightning here, but again, it's below severe levels. Just kind of noisy out there. And in Crossville, this storm still continuing, although it's a lot less than it was. And it kind of gives you an example of kind of just raining itself out there. Heavy rain in Crossville to Crab Orchard coming off the mountain right along I-40. If you look at this over the past hour, you do see kind of a general drift to the north there just a bit. In these storms north of the state line, Tennessee state line, but south of the state line is going against the upper level flow. Yeah, these are kind of drifting more this way a little bit. And storms tend to do that. They can create their own environment and own outflow and kind of move along, go against the flow. But even though the upper flow is from south to north, it's very weak. So once these storms become strong enough, they kind of control their own destiny there a little bit. Kind of have erratic movement. Again, if we show you the, like I showed a minute ago, and I'll show it again here, the tracking the storm top, it kind of gives you more of an idea where it's been moving over the past hour. There we go. Took it a minute to catch up at this current time. See, as you watch this, it's pretty tall top on that near north of Dalton, and then kind of descending down to the south a bit. So the height of the storm is a little bit lower. It was peaking out above 50,000 feet here, and then kind of coming down a bit the farther south you go. It's kind of merging with that line coming in from the south. So we'll see if that, continues that trend of a downward trend there, but still not quite as bad as it was. It was peaking out about 50,000 feet. I mean, that's still in the 40,000 foot range, but down several thousand feet, coming down in altitude. But this gives you a better idea of which way they're moving. The core of that storm moving south and east. And likewise here, you can see a few of those tops from Dayton to Spring City are kind of tall, but overall the trend has been for them to lower quite a bit. But on that far leading edge, that's where the strongest ones are near Spring City to Dayton. And the tops come down quite a bit the farther southeast you go. So you can see here, Decatur, Dayton, Spring City. This is drifting off to the north a bit. So right along 27, lots of heavy rain and lightning. And there'll be some strong gusts with that, but hopefully calming down soon there. We'll check the wind within that. There are no advisories here, but doesn't mean it's not windy. There's going to be some pockets of stronger gusts there, but not as bad as it once was, say, an hour ago, or less than an hour ago. Yeah, there's a move over the past hours. If you were in Dayton, it was, raining heavily, strong wind gusts. Now the potential is kind of dropping off a bit as it drifts to the north. Other spots from Decatur to Athens is Riceville, Inglewood, Etowah. There's pockets of heavy downpours, occasionally some lightning, but this is all below severe levels, just a nuisance to your outdoor activities. Same thing in Cleveland. As I mentioned about 10 minutes ago, this was kind of raining itself out a bit. So raining and notice again still even the past 5 minutes into the loop. So some lightning strikes back to Snow Hill. So don't go back outside yet. And here it is there. It's kind of sinking away from Dalton. Compared to what was like an hour ago, it's not quite as bad. Still a lot of lightning around southern Catoosa, Whitfield, and Dalton, Calhoun, Chatsworth. A lot of lightning there, but the general movement's to the south a bit. So Calhoun is kind of all around you, but you'll probably get some downpours and lightning eventually. Neighboring areas of Chattooga County, not much going on. Some of this, though, from this storm may ease back to the west. So Somerville, some light showers, trying to get some showers. Let's watch any of that may drift back to the west. So be an earshot of that thunderclap, which I've no doubt you're hearing, to the east of Chattooga County. Same thing as southern Walker. We'll see if any of that initiates any redevelopment farther south. North Alabama, things are much quieter than they once were. There are some sporadic storms popping up here near Gadsden. And with that upper flow this way, watch out in southern DeKalb County. Yeah, not quite done with storms yet. North Metro Atlanta, Roswell down to the city, both inside and outside the perimeter. Wow. Where are the Braves playing tonight? Are they playing at home? If they are, it's probably a delay. Where are they playing tonight? Ah, they're playing in Atlanta. Playing the Phillies. Rain delay. It's going to be a while, too. The park right there, just on the outer bubble of the perimeter near Smyrna. So, lookouts here locally postponed. Braves are in a rain delay. Let's make sure that is that advisory still in effect there. We're just past 7:30. Let's keep an eye on this. See if they initiate another advisory there for that part of Murray and Gordon County, because it's still about the same. It seems to be this part kind of growing a bit. So we'll see if they pop an advisory here for Gordon and Southern Whitfield, Southern Murray. Let's check our hail tracker there also. Yeah, you can still see at least a little bit of hail still possible in these pockets there. And again, there's kind of a general drift to the south with that cell. And LJ starting to get some heavy rain. It's both a combination of that cell east of you and what's left of the outflow from that pretty strong storm that was over Pickens County, moving your way from the south. But again, all these are below severe levels. No warnings with those. That's good. Again, rain, lightning, Cisco around 411. Cleveland, again, that thing is raining itself out. Occasional lightning, but it's not severe in Bradley County. Not severe. Be aware of areas of flooding. Same thing across McMinn. There are pockets of heavy rain. Here's Inglewood. Here's Etowah. Here's Athens, Riceville, Calhoun. But again, kind of a general drift off to the west, northwest, though again, not severe. Even in Decatur, where the worst of that's kind of lifting away, you're going to have some pockets of heavy rain coming back. So no need to water the garden or water the lawn today. That's a good thing. And again, pretty active here. Spring City up to 10 Mile. Up 27. So pretty heavy rain here. A lot of lightning. It's a loud one, though not severe. Staying just below that level. That flash flood warning remains in effect for Hamilton County, south central parts of the county, about the next hour until 8:45. Let's check some of those rainfall totals. And again, yeah, south of Red Bank and to the north shore of the city, around 4 inches. Hickson Valley Brook area, about 2.5 to 3 inches. This all occurred with that slow-moving storm. And then here in parts of Sequatchie County, on the mountain, over 3 inches. Still raining. If we kind of zoom out a bit, look at this. That area just east of Rocky Face there in Whitfield County. Look at that. 3.5. 3.5 and still raining. So they don't have any flood advisories out there, but I'd be aware of flash flooding in those areas. And you follow the track and the movement of that storm it went down to the south to the southeast. moving that direction. There's a current view now, and two main areas we're watching. Dalton to Calhoun. Again, no advisories out, no warnings. I would be aware of flash flooding in that part of Whitfield County because of all that rain. And across southeast Tennessee, all of this is pretty noisy, though not severe. And there's your movement. Kind of erratic, but everything along the Tennessee state line and north, kind of drifting to the north and northwest a bit. That storm near Dalton kind of dropping down to the south. And again, it'll probably, the whole complex will rain itself out with time. Say between now and 8 o'clock. And beyond that time, it'll take a little while longer. But it's mainly rain and lightning, the main threats with these. And I've got noted on here, these lines here represent the upper level flow, steering flow, kind of moving like this. And it does appear, though, the last few frames, even though that was dropping down to the south a bit, here it's starting to be picked back up and move north and west. So it may push some rain, heavy downpours back into Walker County, back into Catoosa County, and Chattooga. So be aware of that. Thing with light steering flow, as I mentioned, the movement can be erratic, and the outflow can spark development in other spots. That's an old map. Ignore that. Ignore that too. That's an old map. I have various, ignore that. That's just, I have various maps for other types of advisories, and it's just for, like we had the earthquake about a month ago. It's there, but that's an old map. It has that banner still there, but that's not what that's for. I was just going back to where the severe storm reports were. So please don't panic. Okay. So I said ignore that. Anyway, if you're wondering, that red represented where flood warnings were, not that. This is where we've had some severe storm reports here. DeKalb County here, Jackson County actually, or Stevenson, trees down near the Flat Rock area. Trees down also on the UTC campus, which occurred at about 5:25. And there's that flood warning there. And no surprise here for that flood warning there. Across Whitfield and parts of Murray. I just issued a few moments ago. We were talking about all that rain. No surprise they popped that warning there. It's out till 10:30 Eastern time. So that was just issued a few minutes ago. So we'll just read you the 7:33 Doppler radar indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned areas of this part of, more specifically, east central Catoosa, southern Murray, central Whitfield. They've already had it between 1 and 3 inches of rain. An additional inch and a half possible. Flash flooding and ongoing expected to begin shortly in those areas. So again, 2 flash flood warnings locally right now. One also back here, that's east of Blue Ridge. That one expires very shortly at 8 o'clock. Most of the heavy rain has stopped there, but the 2 main ones at the moment locally, Hamilton County, and then here, far southeastern Catoosa, right through the heart of Whitfield and right through the heart of Murray from Chatsworth southward. Again, this one out till 10:30, so it's going to take a while for the water to subside. And 8:45 in Hamilton County. And just to show you again some of the rain over the past 3 hours, Hickson, Red Bank, pockets of 2.5 to 3, same thing in southern Sequatchie County. But this one right here, where that prompted that new warning, we were showing that a few moments ago, is right at the time they issued that warning. 3.8 to 4 inches now in that part of Whitfield County. And then you got north of Keith's Mill, 2.5 to 3. So no surprise that flash flood warning gets in effect. Aside from those warnings, there are no other storm warnings in effect. Still pretty noisy out there, but not as severe. Things around the city are improving a bit. Things around Cleveland starting to improve. It's still raining, but southern parts of Bradley County, rain moving out, although right on the edge, the state line, that little cell near Cisco kind of holding steady, so it's a lightning risk. So don't go back outside. Don't go back outside yet. I don't know why I couldn't say that. And then you're from Spring City to 10 Mile, just south of Harriman, up there in Roane County. Very heavy rain. Might have a little bit of hail there south of Spring City, a little bit. So right along 27. It's kind of oozing or moving to the north-northwest. So that would bring some more heavy rain and lightning. Spring City, eventually up to Crossville, up to Harriman as well. But again, below severe levels, but pretty noisy. And again, around the city, Cleveland, Saudi Daisy. I mean, these are. It's raining. There's lightning, but not too bad. And you can see that storm having that push there. It looked like it was kind of moving back to north a bit, but it's that push south. So from Fairmont to Dalton, again, it's below severe levels, but there's that flash flood warning out we showed you. So be aware of that. Already 2 to 3 inches of rain in that area. And it wouldn't surprise me. Might have some flooding issues towards Calhoun eventually as that rains itself out. People ask about Lafayette. Hey, Kenny in Lafayette. Things looking okay in Lafayette. We'll just watch and see if any of this outflow sparks any redevelopment, but rain's pretty light in Lafayette right now. Yes, Tina, thank you that we mentioned that flash flood warning in Dalton and Chatsworth. Thank you for that. And another Tina watching in Cleveland. Hello. Hello, Christine Lafayette. Debbie asking about Calhoun, Georgia. That's what we're centered on right now. Not a severe storm. It is a very loud storm. The main threats are heavy rain due to the slow movement and, of course, a lightning risk. It has had a history of producing a little bit of hail. Don't be surprised to see that. At the current time, no warnings on that storm. So it's just below that threshold of being severe. But it looks like Dalton, Chatsworth, the worst of that now is kind of moving away from you. We'll see if it's kind of merged with this cell here right along the mountainous road there from LJ back to Chatsworth on 76. And we'll see if that pushes any of that back. But the worst of that now moving away. There's still some moderate downpours east Brainerd, but not severe. So occasionally the lightning threat there. All right, so Heather checking on Spring City. They are camping. Well, of course we can check that out. Ooh, not a good time to be camping, but yeah. think we talked about this a few weeks ago, didn't we? Is the same question? Well, a lot of rain and lightning there. We'll check the wind velocity here in Spring City. And there are some gusts in there. Ignore the negative. So some gusts 28. Some gusts, yeah. So some gusts of 20 to 30. So it's pretty breezy out there. Heavy rain and lightning there in Spring City. It won't last forever, but it's going to last at least between now and 8:30, next 45 minutes, because the slow movement of all these storms. So if you're there camping in Spring City, as long as you're at a safe place, just hold tight. It's not a tornadic storm, but it's lightning, a big problem. And of course, some flash flooding could result from some of these. Again, Dayton, Decatur, things are improving compared to where they were. There's still some pockets of heavy rain. Same thing from Calhoun, Tennessee, Etowah, Athens, Inglewood, but not severe. There's still some lightning here, Bradley over to Polk County. Again, I mentioned that storm kind of raining itself out near Cleveland. Still some downpours around East Brainerd. That little cell near Cisco is kind of coming down a bit. That northern part of Murray. And of course, this one's sinking south quickly. Taking the plunge there. Just paralleling 75. So, we'll have to see if any of the outflow, as it moves that way, any of the outflow sparks any development in the neighboring counties of Chattooga and Walker. It's just a time thing. We'll have to wait and see. It's possible. But all the other cells that were drifting north out of the far north Atlanta metro area have stayed below severe levels. But the farther south you go to the Atlanta metro area, oh boy, it is rough. And Truist Field right here, they're in a rain delay. It's going to be a while. Meanwhile, locally, again, flash flood warnings remain in effect till 8:45. Hamilton County. This is out to 10:30. Dalton, Chatsworth, and areas south. Includes a sliver of Catoosa County and areas south of Varnell. Out to 10:30 there. Across Hamilton till 8:45. Folks are mentioning the cool air. Yeah, again, the high at Level Field was 92. You knocked the temperature down 21 degrees in an hour. And here's where we stand right now. It's back up a degree, heating up. 60s in many spots, but you can see a few spots where the storms are just now reaching. It's still pretty warm, but again, many areas cool down to the 60s. So I'd watch for areas of fog developing as the night goes on. And as far as the rain over the past 3 hours, where we're seeing flash flooding, I'm going to expand this map out just a minute. You can see the main pockets. And notice there are many areas hardly have been left out. They're like, what rain? Look at Lafayette. For the most part left out. Chickamauga, not much. But you go here, these pockets right here. These are the hot pockets. Now I'm hungry. 1, 2, 3. And this one, 4. This is the most right there. But this is just over the past 3 hours alone, the slow movement of the storms. So near Red Bank, 4, close to 3. Sequatchie County, close to 3. And then it's still raining heavily here, but it'll change each hour. So even though it's not noting where the heavy rain has fallen in southern parts of Whitfield and Murray, it will on the hourly update. Just know that. It's not leaving you out. But through the 7 o'clock hour, at the top of the hour, is about 3.5 to 4 inches there. These colors will no doubt really light up the next few minutes once we reach 8 o'clock. So you can see again all that moving away to the south and these drifting away to the north, about to move out of Ray and northern Meigs County, about to exit out, but Spring City still rough up there and up toward Harriman. Basically Spring City to Harriman in Roane County. And then right in here, it's still raining hard and seems to be kind of breaking up a bit. But still raining heavily, basically from south of Dalton, about Carbondale area, Calhoun, Adairsville, Ellijay, but improving in Dalton and Chatsworth compared to what it was. Cleveland is easing up gradually. That thing's like I said, raining itself out. Still a lightning threat. And again, pick it up a little bit towards Etowah, up to I believe Inglewood's here, and Etowah, so pick up a little bit. So there's going to be occasional heavy downpours and lightning coming back to Athens. Decatur, you're not quite done. This will head your way in the next hour between 8 and 9 o'clock. So be aware of that. And same thing here, Spring City to Harriman. Again, there are no advisories, no warnings for at least the storm strength. But our main concerns are the flash flooding areas. And of course, my biggest concern, along with flooding, is the lightning risk. Everybody wants to go outside. I get that. There's so many outdoor activities this time of year, but lightning is deadly. Well, here we go. There's an advisory on that storm right there. It's out till 8:30. So Doppler radar indicating this storm over Fairview or near Rockwood. Moving northeast at 5. It's very slow movement. Wind gusts up to 50 and half-inch size hail possible. But this includes northeastern Ray and northeastern Meigs through 8:30. And most of Roane County. So it's a special weather statement. And it's going to exit out of these counties before 8:30. But it'll stay in Roane County a little while longer. So Spring City, between now and 8:30, things will start to improve. But for the time being, stay inside because of lightning threat. And it's really starting to ease out of Meigs County pretty quickly, just north of 10 Mile. And that one's collapsing down to the south rather quickly. So rain and lightning, Chatsworth, Ellijay, Calhoun, Fairmont. Down to Rome, Georgia, and Floyd County. Got viewers down there and watch us. But as I mentioned, we'll keep an eye on these neighboring areas of Walker, Chattooga, Floyd, of any outflow from that, sparking redevelopment. I mean, if it does, the severe threat's pretty low. Just know that there could be some downpours and lightning, but for right now, not bad. Still some downpours around the city. South Pittsburgh, Mount Eagle, Whitwell, Dunlap, though not severe. Things are really improving in the mountains to the east. Much better than it was a couple of hours ago. Let me check one thing here. It's not allowing me to log on. was trying to log on my mobile device so I can see some of your comments easier. Sometimes it delays it here on this screen. I was trying to make sure I got all of them there. All right. There we go. Let's see. I think I've answered a lot of these questions here. Devin says a lot cooler in Cohutta. It's a good thing. Beats that heat we had. Yeah. Well, as we take a break from watching what's happening out there, let's do this. Let's talk about what's going to go on. Let's look at the high-res model for the next few hours, first of all. Then we'll talk about tomorrow's forecast and Sunday. So here we go. Here's a high-res model between 9 o'clock, next hour, to about 11. Things rapidly improve. So I do anticipate slowly things gradually diminishing down. Okay. This will be rain, lightning, and it'll shake the house a little bit. But as far as the severity, it's a little bit lower now. Our main concern now is watching for those areas of flash flooding. Then going through the rest of the night in a high res, just very isolated activity. Sky's clear and a little bit of fog towards morning. So we'll keep an eye on that. But that trend shows you what we're expecting. We're already kind of seeing that now, but expect that coming up. Okay. So future track model through tomorrow morning. So we might be lucky enough to get temperatures down to the 60s. We're already seeing it now in some spots, but it may be a little bit more comfortable to start the day. And it's awfully humid. And do watch for patchy areas of fog, but overall, not a bad start to the day. Now, again, during the afternoon, this is on Saturday, some scattered showers and storms at times. Temperatures upper 80s to around 90. Notice like today, it's not everywhere all at once. It won't be in the same pattern probably, but that chance will be there. That'll last through the early evening and then fade out. And then we go towards Sunday morning early. This is back up a little bit. There's Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Temperatures right around 70. Around lunchtime, partly sunny, you're heating up. And again, I'm just stressing, this is not all day. Okay, you'll see a 60, 70% chance on both days, Saturday and Sunday, but it's not all day rain. It just means your percentage chance is higher that you'll encounter a storm during the afternoon and evening hours. It does not mean all day rain. So I don't want you to look at the app and go, it's a washout. No, mainly afternoon and evening. All right, helping you plan your day. But have a backup plan. You know, for your outdoor activities, because at times these storms will chase you inside and you have to stay inside a while because of the lightning risk. So this is on Sunday afternoon. Notice again, scattered storms popping up. Where you do get the storms, you cool down a bit. Where you don't, upper 80s to around 90. And I anticipate the same thing again. Same thing again as we approach Monday. Chance to go a little bit higher. But here we go for tomorrow to plan your day. And temperatures will be in the 70s early, some 60s possible. Watch some patchy fog. And then eventually right around 90 with some scattered storms, mainly afternoon and the evening hours. All right, currently the two warnings we have right now. Flash flood warning out for Hamilton County, which goes till 8:45 Eastern. This is till 8:45. And then this one here, stretching from Whitfield and Murray out till 10:30 Eastern. There's a current radar view. And so really locally, two main areas to watch. This one here lifting out of Northern Ray, and this one here starting to weaken a bit. Still a rain and lightning threat and flooding threat again through parts of Whitfield and Murray and down through Gordon County. Some of that easing into Rome too, into Floyd County. But again, no advisories or warnings on that aside from the flash flood warning. And if we go here to the north, still raining heavily, Spring City up to around Harriman. Again, this is an advisory out to the bottom of the half hour, 8:30. Some wind gusts up to 50 possible in that storm. It's moving northeast at 5. Includes a large part of Roane County, just the northeastern parts of Ray and Meigs. So very, very small sliver of the county. It does include Spring City and 10 Mile, though in 10 Mile, it's easing away from you. It's starting to lift away to the north a bit. Spring City, it persists, but it's starting to weaken a little bit. So I would say between now and 8:30, things will start to improve a bit. And again, around the city, other spots, Etowah to Athens, that's a pretty good soaker coming up with some thunder. So it's going to be like, whoa, where'd that come from? But it's not that bad. But be aware of the lightning risk. Another round of heavy rain. Same thing in Calhoun, Tennessee. Heavy rain and lightning. It will quickly move by. Cleveland, things have improved. Still raining, not like what it once was. Fort Oglethorpe, light rain. In the city, some moderate rain coming back towards Red Bank. Just still be aware of that ongoing flooding threat. You know, Marion and Franklin and Grundy County, moderate downpours again, but not too bad. Across North Georgia, some light rain. Chickamauga, Lafayette, Tryon, all the way down to Highway 27. We'll see if any outflow from this sparks any other development, but for now, it's just very light rain. I'd be aware of a lightning strike there, just be an earshot of that. Any collapse of thunder, but really most of that storm is really collapsing and moving south pretty rapidly. From south of Chatsworth, Ellijay, down to Calhoun. You know, there's no advisory or severe thunderstorm warning or anything, but just pretty good soaking downpours and very loud. And again, right here between that's a beautiful drive, by the way. 76 to Ellijay. Love that drive. Wouldn't want to drive it right now, though. Pretty heavy rain and lightning right there along that scenic road. So Chatsworth, some of that may kick back to you a little bit. You're no doubt hearing the claps of thunder on the mountain, but that'll kind of rotate back in just a little bit. So you wear some heavy downpours there and lightning, but again, below severe levels. Just a noisy thing. And there's heavy rain Resaca to Calhoun. Again, that's kind of raining itself out there. They really, boy, the past 15 minutes just really reducing that area of heavy rain. Let's check on that heavy rain since it's now updated. So this is an update over the past 3 hours. There's that core of 3.6 approaching 4, 3, and south of Chatsworth where we had some hail also. That's about 3 inches. So that thing has been a slow mover and soaking downpours of that. The reason why that flood warning is in effect. And then up here in Hamilton County, these 3 main areas, Hamilton and Sequatchie. Again, you can see why these flood warnings are in effect. There's a flash flood warning there. It'll expire in the next 40 minutes. Still be aware of flash flooding because it's getting dark. Just be aware of that. And again, this flood warning out, flash flood warning that is, till 10:30. It's still raining heavily there, but at least the intensity of rain coming down just a little bit. All right, for majority of us, things are calming down. It's going to be lightning a little bit every now and then. And just remember to stay inside. Remember the 30-30 rule. We go over this again. Remember this for the weekend. Okay? Kids, listen up if you're listening. I always say when the thunder roars, go indoors. Remember that rhyme. Because if you can hear thunder, lightning's close enough. Okay? The 30-30 rule is wait 30 minutes since the last visible lightning strike, our last audible clap of thunder before going back outside. Okay? Or that you're able to count to 30 seconds between a lightning strike and clap of thunder. Since light travels faster than the sound, you'll see the lightning strike where you hear the clap of thunder. There's that delay. If you can count more than 30 seconds, okay, between that lightning strike and clap of thunder, it's a little bit safer to go back out. But oftentimes you can still hear the thunder. It's close enough. That's just my rule of thumb there. But Notice how, and I'll use this as an example. See the core of the storm is here, but look way out here. Look how much farther away from the storm as that lightning strike was. That's about 15 miles in the core of that storm. So it doesn't have to be over you, the storm, be around you. Lightning striking a long way away from there. So just please understand that the reason I always say wait 30 minutes is that last lightning strike or clap of thunder before going back outside. That's the case in Spring City right now. All this starting to lift away. Spring City, things are improving a bit. Intensity of rain coming down. It's kind of shifting now north, more into Roane County, so Rockwood or Harriman. Time to stay inside for a while. Still some lightning around 10 Mile as well, but this advises out to 8:30. Things will start getting calmer between now and 8:30. Rest of this area not severe here. Occasional lightning, downpours is really about it. And this seems to be kind of winding down here, although between now and 9 o'clock, still raining pretty heavily. Chatsworth, you might get a little bit of that coming back in from the east, but the core of that kind of dropping down to the south a bit. All right. So, folks, we're going to end this broadcast for now since things are getting a little bit calmer. Please be aware of the flash flooding. Turn around, don't drown. That applies to driving. That applies to walking. Yes, and even if you're on a bicycle, okay? Don't cross areas that have been affected by flash flooding. Don't cross those waters. It only takes about 6 inches of moving water. Okay, it's barely over ankle deep to move a car. And a lot less than that to sweep a person off their feet. So don't do that. I'll show you one more time. We're still getting a lot of lightning and rain in spots Athens to Calhoun. That little cell popping up near Von Orr. I believe, though, see where the movement is at. That it's nearly stationary. We'll keep an eye on that for Tellico Plains, but it's mainly a rain and lightning threat there. But yes, we're getting some lightning, still pretty loud towards Athens, Calhoun, although it's not a severe storm. So, all right, folks. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a safe night. If need be, we'll have more updates, but things are gradually getting calmer. Just still be aware of the lightning risk and the downpours, and of course, the flooding threat as nightfall approaches. All right, stay safe. Expect a similar pattern for the weekend. I'll have an update coming up on air at 10 and 11, and when needed, here on the live stream. Have a great night, everybody.